Everybody know this, huh? Everybody ready? Hello, and welcome to the last episode, the final episode of Beyond the Noise for the 2020 season. It has been a year, and this is my first year doing this, so I'm really excited about how it turned out. If you guys have comments, if you guys think we did a good job, we really would appreciate reviews and recommendations. If you have negative comments, keep them to yourself. I do not care about what you think. So we have done about 37 episodes, and for at least 30 of them, I had the pleasure of hanging out with the round-faced Mexican girl. She is here for the grand finale. Graco, what's going on?
Nothing. I just got back from Missouri, and I think I brought the cold with me because it was like 20 degrees over there, and it's supposed to snow on Thursday.
That's ridiculous. And we got her on the ones and twos. We got Miss P producing this thing today, so we're going to come out with a masterpiece. I think it's important that, I've had a chance to have quite a few people on here to tell their story, how they started, and then we talk a little bit about PE and what we do. But I've never really told, people don't really know how PE was birthed. Grace, so do you even know how PE was birthed?
I think you said you wrote it down one day, and it was when you still worked with LT, I think.
Okay,
and then it kind of just found its way together with you?
No, it's actually a methodical story about how that happened. So I want the world to know where that passion comes from and where we were. And then today you get to see where we are, because I have a star-studded cast with me today. I got a whole bunch of brains in the building, and I'm a little bit nervous about the humans that we have in here because they are so far beyond me. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you how we got to this point. In 2010, I was at the house, and I worked at Lifetime Fitness. And I thought that place was fantastic. It was always clean, had all these amenities, and they treated their personal trainers and their personal training like top of the line, top shelf. I got to be honest. And they paid the best. They gave good training. We had a big team, and my department head was fantastic. Shout out to Michael. He was outstanding, and he taught me quite a few things about just being an instructor. So I had no idea what a business plan looked like. I had no idea the things that are necessary just to get a business started. I just know me. And I'm one of the most confident human beings that I've ever met. And it ain't many things that I can talk myself out of once I make a decision. So I started thinking about all the things that big boxes were missing, or all the things that studios were missing. So I'm going to leave you at 2010 and take a step back to 2007. 2007, all I needed was space. Space and opportunity, like fight. If you could stick your arms out, I could train you. And that's what we did. So I always found dirt, grass, dirty grass, mud, indoor, outdoor, back door. It didn't matter. If you wanted to get the work in, the work got done. And I would drive an hour for a 5 a.m. class, be there on time, give them everything I had, and then drive an hour back just to get dressed and go to a day job just to train right after the day job. It's just what we did. So I started feeling myself and gassing myself up. I knew how to get clients at Lifetime in 2010. I had like a plethora of 22 clients, revolving them, working in and out, and it was so much more that I felt like was missing. But I'm kind of weird like that, Miss P. It's always something missing, no matter how great stuff is. So I started writing down, if I owned a place, this is what it would look like. Here is my calendar. Here is all the information I want, all the things that I want to do. And that ended up being about a 400-page booklet with full calendar, full programs. It was all typed up. I took it to Kinko's, and that little plastic wrap thing that they put on there to give it a spine. I let them give it a spine, and then I wrote more notes in it, and that was PE. And it took me about 2 weeks to write it, And I was like, man, there's a lot of stuff. This ain't probably gonna work for a lot of people. So that's how it was thought about. That's how it was brought to life. A few years before that, I met Nika Blunt, and I worked with her son. We call him Bud, Anthony.
Hey, Bud.
Shout out to Bud. But he was an 8th grader, and I had the chance to work with him at his house. We did football stuff, and he continued to get better. So I ended up working with his sister, Coca-Cola, or Courtney. Shout out to Coke. And that evolved and grew into me having the opportunity to work with Nika, because Nika had a few physical ailments, and had a chance to help her work through that. But I spoke about what I wanted to do all the time. It was just, hey, if I had a chance to do this, I would do this, and then and the other. And Nika and I ended up growing a strong relationship through that. And we became friends, and she was listening, and all of a sudden, she was like, I might be able to help you with that. So I showed her that 47,000 page encyclopedia of things and stuff. And she has a corporate background, so she could filter through the minutia and say, you know what, this seems like a pretty good plan. And that was how PE was conceived. So we did all the paperwork. She knew a whole lot more about business than I knew. I knew a whole lot about service, sales, and training. So I knew how to close people, I knew how to get results from people, and I knew how to keep people. And I thought that's all it was to business. No, sir. So in January 1st, 2014, Performance Experience was a full entity. Nika, as my business partner, she did all the corporate stuff, and I did all the people stuff, and we struggled. I don't know, Nika, what you say till today, but it was so many lessons and things learned about the difference between being a successful person and putting people in a successful position. I learned quite a few things. One thing I learned was just because I can do it, it doesn't mean that we can get it done. So I put us in a lot of struggling positions with my overzealous, over-anxious attitude of what needs to be more, when I should have just did what I know how to do. So in 2015, we were out there doing everything. I'm talking about shit. We were doing everything. Races, combines, camp. We was anywhere and everywhere. And it seemed cool until I realized, that's not the direction that we're trying to go. That wasn't even in the plan. So we had a few good years. We had a few good things. We had a lot of things happen. And along the way, I have ran into people who genuinely have done things to bring us to this point. Shout out to Nika Blunt. Shout out to Greg Campbell. Shout out to Anthony Shelton. Ben Roberts, John Roberts, and Kerry Roberts. I mean, the list goes on and on. The Peace family. All of these people kept us going well beyond just the business part. The relationships that we learned how to cultivate, the way to treat people, even in struggling times where we had to make decisions that weren't favorable for the company. However, we kind of understood that if we just weathered the storm, we may survive. And then this year was hilariously, terribly difficult. To have to send people home like Eddie, who I'll be introducing soon, and not really understanding who's going to rock with me when I have to give them this news about, hey, listen, I can't pay you today, but I'll pay you in a couple of weeks, or hey, don't come in work because they shutting this building down, and so much uncertainty. And then to have these people stay consistent, believe in what we're actually trying to get accomplished, and then listen to me. That's another story in and of itself. To be able to even follow what I'm saying on a regular basis can be interesting. But in these past 6 years, we'll be a full 6 years old on January 1st, running into our 7th year. By the way, 7 is the number of completion, so I hope I finished the ridiculousness and screwing up over the past 6 years and go get me some new problems. But I have learned that people make this thing go. And if I stay true to what we wanted the brand to stand for, we'll survive, and then we'll thrive. So when we started, it was a whole bunch of over-anxious, overzealous ideas, a couple of people who knew how to do a few things, and then they piled on the problems. 6 years later, we're still here. Thousands of people later, 70 different scholarships, multiple places. I mean, Grayson, we've been everywhere from, I don't know, Tennessee to Northern California, doing things and stuff in fitness, having to meet people and touch different lives and do different events and hear different stories. It leads us to this podcast with this wonderful cast that I'm sitting here with today. Now, Miss Pete, I don't know why they think I'm so cool to hang out with, but we get to find out today. So I have with me here the in-house PE team, and I'm going to shout out a few other people who are part of the team. Shout out Coach Don Hicks. Shout out to Darvis Patton. Shout out to Mark Keith. I mean, I can go on and on. Shout out to Sam Davis and Chris Davis. But the in-house team is here with me. To my right, I have Miss Sherilyn Wilson. Cher is a track coaching stud. She has worked with athletes with 2 left feet and send them into all district situations. And she has a background of consistency that allows for mechanical development as well as understanding how to treat people. She is a resident of Kansas and Garberville, but we're not going to hold that against her where it's cold and ridiculous out there. However, the way she treats the people, the knowledge that she beholds, her maturity at this level, and the ability to keep people moving forward along, as well as bringing her teammates up, are second to none. It is a joy to have her on the team, and she's going to get to speak her piece today. But I have Miss Sherilyn Wilson with us. To her right, I have Eduardo Garcia. Now, Eddie is one of the angriest looking human beings I've ever met. But Eddie actually is a product of Arlington Bowie High School. He had a chance to get a scholarship to play quarterback at Division II. When he came back here, not only did he train with us, he decided to come here and work with us. Notice I never say work for us. I always work with, because we're running this race together. I just get to put my name at the bottom of the check. But Eddie is masterful at program design. He does a tremendous job with strength of athletes of all ages, and part of that is because it's his passion. He is currently in school now. I always ask about his grades. I'll beat him up when he tells me stuff that I don't like about the grades, but you won't find a more studious, more passionate human being who works with these athletes and get results, regardless of the sport or regardless of boys, girls, volleyball, soccer. It doesn't even matter. I've watched him work. It is amazing to see. To his right, I have the round-faced Mexican girl, Miss Gracie Dagnino. Now,
Really?
I don't talk a lot about Gracie. I just talk a lot about Gracie. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you the impact that Gracie has had on so many lives that I've watched over the past 5 years. Gracie came to see us as an intern and knew very little about anything that we were doing. And just to be able to follow what I say is an event in and of itself. But I watched her take flack from parents, from coaches, from everybody who didn't look like her, because when she sat down, Gracie, and I know you can attest to this, I said, listen, it's going to be hard for you because you don't look like anybody in this space, and they're going to remind you. However, I don't care what people think, and they can't beat me up, so I'm pretty much going to put you on the map, and it's up to you to do whatever it is you do. Well, let me tell you what she did. She single-handedly took our female athlete base from 2 to, I don't know, 45% of the athletes that we have in there today. She currently works with 4 freshmen in 3 different sports that are all playing on varsity. She has worked with combine athletes as well as help kids run faster to get scholarships everywhere from TCU to Harvard. All of this stuff is real and it can be documented. But more importantly, You will never find a human being treat human beings the way she does. It has never been about the dollar. It's always about the service. She came up in this space, learned how to operate on the fly, listened to me be ridiculous, and now she is one of the top instructors in the region, and people actually call me looking for her so they can work with her. And behind her, I have young Ashley Munoz, who is a student at UTA. She actually earned one of our scholarships. She's loud, she's aggressive, just the way I like it. She's not afraid to go learn how to do things. And I have with me the performance experience team. Now, again, I'm a lot of things, but a leader, I don't know. However, I know I've learned so much over the years, and I do know a good team when I see it, because it's based in attitude, service, and culture. So you won't find a better group of individuals who lead with service and are dynamite at what they do. Ladies and gentlemen, please, all of you guys at the table, give a round of applause for the performance experience team.
Feels weird clapping for ourselves.
I know that is kind of crazy, but I clap for myself every morning. Hey, so let's talk about it. I've talked about Miss Cheryl and Cher. The people want to know, where are you from? Why are you here hanging out with me? And what is the thing that you do, so they have an understanding?
Well, I'm just a small town Kansas girl from, as he said, Coffeyville, Kansas. On the map. Shout out to Coffeyville, Kansas. Born and raised there. And so from Coffeyville, I ended up in Emporia. I went to Emporia State University, ran track for Emporia State University. And shout out to Emporia. We have Emporia in common. I ran track at Emporia State University under Coach Dave Harris. He's now the head coach at Nebraska, head track and field coach at Nebraska University. Finished up there at Emporia, came down here to Texas, finished my degree at Prairie View A&M University, PV.
Shout out to PV.
Shout out to PV. From PV, I ended up here in the DFW. Family things brought me here. Some losses, and got some gains from the losses, but the losses brought me here to the DFW area. And I met Greg on the fly.
At a barbecue.
Story. At a barbecue with a friend that I met through another acquaintance, and he was there with her brother, and we were just talking. I don't even know how we came on the subject of fitness. Bo
brought it up. He threw an alley.
Somebody brought it up. Might have been done on purpose. I don't know. But we got on fitness, and I started talking about what I do. Track and field coach. I coach track and field at A&M Consolidated University in College Station, Texas. Was there for 6 years. Loved it. I mean, was mentored by the best. Kevin Waters, shout out to Coach Waters. He's the brother of Dan Waters, who's the head coach of track and field at Alabama University. And so I was mentored by the best, trained by the best, and I was able to coach some of the best there. It's a great area. Got Texas A&M University there, so you're filtering out those College Station athletes to the university. And one of the best I trained, Jasmine Steele. She's the reigning indoor long jump champion right now. We didn't have season last year, so she still holds. She was second in the outdoors, and she represented the U.S. and Mexico, and she was second there, brought home the silver. So she was probably the best athlete I trained there in College Station. From there, I just came here, and like I said, I'm just training. I met Greg at this barbecue. We talked about fitness, talked about my passion. I probably just started running off at the mouth because I do that when we get on the subject of track and field, when I get to talking about speed and running and just what I do.
Yeah.
I just started talking about it, and he was like, hey.
Come on over, let's see what we got.
You want to train? Okay.
Jasmine said, did you get to know Coach Anderson at A&M?
I did know Coach Anderson, Vince Anderson, and I also know his son Cole. He graduated from A&M Consolidated High School. He's one of the best quarter runners at A&M Consolidated High School, and probably one of the best at A&M. But yes, I know him a little. I know his wife. She did yoga for us. She was our yoga instructor.
Oh, that's cool.
6 degrees, I'm telling you.
6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Got to work some with Coach McCraven, the cross country coach at A&M. Just through connections with Coach Waters, just got to learn, watch, go to the meets. I also officiated USA Track and Field officiated indoor and outdoor meets, so I got to see a lot.
So you was in the mix. You dove straight in.
I mean, I live, breathe, sleep track and field. I mean, I love everything fast. got a fast car, love everything fast.
There it is right there.
And so that's what I do. That's what brought me here. My family, some tough things brought me here, but I always feel like everything happens for a reason. So I feel like I'm in this place with this team at this point in my life with these
folks.
Weirdos.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy word, but these people are phenomenal.
I was about to say, I see you've been around me a lot.
They know their stuff, and I love it.
Yeah, we got a table full of weirdos, and that's the truth. And one of the weirdest is Mr. Eduardo. Now, see, I love talking to Eddie because he don't talk much and he don't talk loud, and it's straight to the point. And I always walk out the room going, "Hey, is Eddie mad at me? Anybody know? Is Eddie okay today?" So,
Wait, last thing before we go to Eduardo, because this ties to the last thing. But she said he's awesome was her response, and Coach Anderson saw Gregory. She said she wrote it. I'm just saying it in a cafe and knew he was my brother just because we look identical.
Wow.
you tell Jasmine that Gregory is only for her and Mama. When you say Gregory online, everybody start calling me Gregory. Shout out.
Reading,
okay.
right?
It's sad.
That's funny. Eddie does a lot of our strength and conditioning. And Eddie is the lead dog at our speed school program in Euless on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So if you want to learn everything about speed, we talking about strength, explosive movement, and mechanics, Eddie is the guy. And he gets it done. And Eddie likes the numbers. So Eddie, let the people know how you got, well, you've been to PE in 2 capacities.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
So my first interaction with PE was in the summer of 2014.
Yep.
I believe going into my sophomore year. And at the time, I was playing quarterback at Arlington Bowie. Didn't have the starting position. I knew I wanted to compete at the next level, so in order to get looked at, I had to train for it and get prepared and hopefully get some scouts to look at me.
Mm-hmm.
And so my dad found PE. I don't know how. I don't know how he found PE.
I don't either.
And then ended up training with PE. Coach Marquise was my trainer at the time. And thank goodness I received a scholarship and had the opportunity to play at the next level. But unfortunately, I had to quit due to injury, season injuries. So came back home, was still in college, came back home. And at the time, I was just working. I ended up going back to my old job and was supervising at the time. And I realized that, that's not what I wanted to do. And at that time, I knew I wanted to become a trainer, but not a sports performance trainer like I am now.
Right.
Because, my love for fitness was always there. As in, I believe, probably a year later, that's when, the athlete inside me was still there. I've always wanted to stay active. And so I kind of just thought about it, and I was like, maybe I want to go down the road of being a coach in the sports performance side. And then out of the blue, Coach Marquise, I think he called me.
Yep.
And he was telling me, "Hey, Greg's looking for some trainers," and I was like, "Yeah, why not?"
Yep.
Came in that day. I still remember that day when I came in. Whenever you were doing assessment, and then from there, I've been with PE for 2 years.
Yep.
Going on 2 years now, and things are going well.
Yeah, man. It's interesting. I'm a big believer in. For me, the biggest thing to get people in the building is trust. I used to interview and I used to interview people, man, and everybody does a good job in interviews until the day it's time to start work, and you wonder what happened during the interview. So I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just start trusting what people tell me, not what they say. And Eddie was 100% genuine and new, but, even in you being green, the knowledge was second to none. And then to watch you guys work is always a great thing. So now we come to Gracie, who does everything at the building, including stuff that I don't do. It's funny to watch somebody grow up, you know what I'm saying? And then watch them to grow through things that, you kind of told them, hey, it's going to go like this, whether you want it to or not. You can't sidestep it. You can't bypass it. This is how it's going to go. How are you going to handle it? And then to watch her handle it in a manner that allowed her to sidestep doubters, prove me right, which I feel so good about, and then to take something that wasn't there and turn it into something that currently is a beautiful thing to watch. So Grace, so over these past 5 years, what would you say is the biggest thing you've seen as far as what we do at PE? And I'm talking about if it's success, it's adjustments. What is the thing that you've seen grow as you've grown at PE?
I've seen the group that, and I hate to sound kind of biased, but I love that there's a lot more girls now.
Oh, yeah.
I used to feel so like, and not even just on the team. Like there was a point when there was only girls on the team, and then it turned into a point where, employed-wise, I was the only girl on the team, and we used to not get a whole lot of girls in there too.
Right.
And when you live in what is supposed to be a man's world, for that space.
Speak up so everybody can hear. When you live in what? Let the world know. Like James Brown.
When you live in what is supposed to be a man's world, according to what people think someone who's qualified should look like, doesn't look like me, or is not as easily trusted when it comes to things like this. And it's nice to have people call me and ask me if I'm still training, and knowing that they have two people that they could have reached out to too, or a number of people, and gone other places. But it just allows me to see all the hard work that I put in, not only at PE, but in school and up to this point. And honestly, the entire reason why I chose kinesiology as a major.
You know what? I want to talk about that. So, because for me, I don't get that headache. Like nobody even question. They don't even care if I can read or not. It's hey, you play football? Yeah. You train? Yeah. Can you work with my son? Sure. So I always have leg up. And share this question is for Gracie first, and then for you. Why do you think it is that the actual knowledge of the movement or the training of the sport gets dismissed, and it's the title or the look carries more weight, and then people turn back around and realize that there was a false sense of value sometimes? But I don't get that. But females get that a lot more than Eddie and I get that. Why do you think that is?
I think, I can only speak to myself, because I believe that if I looked even a little more like Cher, she can, I think, has a better chance of handling her own when it comes to that. Like before, like it's almost like I get an unexpected jab before they've even talked to me. Yeah. And that's fine. I don't really care anymore. It doesn't really bother me. But I am all the criteria in which a professional athlete doesn't look like.
That don't mean you don't know.
And you're not wrong, but
right.
It's more like something about having someone who they know was successful or knows was someone that they want their child to be at some point is can sometimes hold a little more value for them.
So, and you work with football players now. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times for you to work with football, you got to be put on. But your title allows you to work with female track athletes. You get that. But why is the knowledge, what's the difference between a female track athlete and a male track athlete and somebody trying to run 60-yard dash? Why do you think you guys run into that problem when they see Eddie asking if, and that's normal. I'm not saying anything that we don't always see. Why do you think you run into that?
Well, I think part of it is just, in general, the basic gender role. Just if you just take the bare foundation of it, just the basic gender role, like you think of strength, you think of speed, you think of toughness, you think of males, you think of men. And so that's just the first thing that they go to. I want my son to be stronger. I want him to be faster. I want him to be quicker. So like that guy, he played football. Like look at him. Like he's gonna look past Gracie and me, and he's gonna look at you. Look at the receiver. Or he's gonna look at you, the quarterback. for me, I can contest, like I can agree with her, because even with my knowledge and experience, I have to run it down. Like I literally have to go through, I've trained so-and-so and so-and-so, I've done this, I've done that. I have trained boys and football players because I'm a head girls track coach, but I'm also a sprint coach. So I coach coach football players. That's what I do. Track season is off-season football. So that's what I do. But I agree with her to some of that. Yeah, you pretty much, as a female, this is a male-dominated profession, world. Most men are trainers. Most trainers
Unless
are
you're doing
men.
yoga.
Unless
Supposed
you're
to be
doing
one
yoga
of us.
or just something different, Pilates, something
Yeah.
different, Zumba. But
I'd
for
fit
me,
right in on Zumba.
even for me, like.
All right, go. Continue. Go.
I can see Greg doing that.
Crazy.
I like Zumba, but I'm listening.
Even for me, a lot of times I have to show my physical strength. I have my football boy, and he, as you said, he's amazed at times that a lot of my core strength is stronger than his. There's no doubt about it. We've come to that conclusion. Me and him, he's accepted that, and there are things that I can do.
All right, coach.
He's accepted that.
Yeah.
And so there's things that I can do that he can't do, but that's the thing, like for women, like we almost have to like throw ourselves out there and be like, look, I can, like just listen to me.
Right.
And I have the knowledge. I might not look like you expect me to look, but I got this. And this lady down here is like, I'm not even gonna say my age, but I'm an age, like, a lot older than most of the people at this table, and she's so knowledgeable that she makes me sometimes look like, so.
I understand. Trust me.
Yeah.
I get it.
Oh, it's so sweet.
But Eddie, you don't run into that. But I've seen what you put into those kids, and I see what they leave with. What was the thing? You don't do things like most strength people. You have a real formula based on the individual. How did you come with that approach?
A lot of research. Like, again, this is only my second year of coaching, so pretty much the whole first year I was just trying to figure out, how do you program an athlete for strength and not go in like the bodybuilding realm, or like powerlifting. So I really had to do a lot of research, because I was kind of thrown into the pit whenever I first came, because it was definitely a struggle, but I believe this year I really started to get it down.
Yep.
And go a little more detail and more specifics when it comes to strength. Not only strength, but speed specifically. Everything I do is in a progressive form. So everything has a purpose. Like, I'm not just gonna make you do something if it's not gonna benefit you on the field or on the court. Everything has a reason, and I'm not just throwing something at you.
Yeah. And I can attest to the studying, because I would go back there and pick on him and bother him, because he have the computer going and the book open, and Eddie don't like the music on, and I don't understand that in a fitness facility. He turns the music off because he needs to study. But I watch the work that you put in, and he's right. And in there, we take a scientific approach. We don't just throw rando exercises at people. Now, everybody laughed at the table, and Ashley will be with us in about 2 minutes. Everybody laughed at the table when he said he was kind of thrown in there, because that's just how I do things. If we're going to find out if we can swim, we're going to find out if we can swim, right, Chef? I got life preservers, and we're good.
I still remember that day.
That was so funny.
What happened, Eddie? Tell him what happened.
I forgot who I was. I think I was training him. I was training Michael Smith at the time.
Yep.
And
8 Chips online too. He's watching too.
I was training Michael Smith at the time. I think we had speed school at 6:00, and I had my back turned like from the door. I turn around and I see like 13, 15 kids coming at me.
It was like, no.
And
then they all pulled up.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So
I was thinking, I'm like, dang, poor Eddie. This is his first one.
At first it was pretty nervous, because I've never dealt with a group training or training like that in general. So at first it was kind of tough. And then we went in the backyard.
Yep.
Started doing the warm up, and I was like, all right, this isn't so bad. You kind of have to go you kind of have to be the kid as well. You can't be yourself, because you have to interact with the kids and kind of have to, I wouldn't say go to the level, but you have to understand them and kind of go off their behavior and whatnot. So
that's a powerful statement. You got to kind of be the kid. That gives you a real perspective on how to approach things.
Yeah,
that's why Eddie doesn't say a lot, because he's philosophical when he does.
Yeah, I am quiet, but I'm more of an observer. So it doesn't take long for me to see, how a kid is or how his behavior is. Like if he's down, if he's excited, it'll take no more than like 5 seconds for me to kind of realize who I'm dealing with and what do I need to do. Yeah.
And we are here with the PE team. We're here with Grace-O, the round-faced Mexican girl. We're here with Eduardo, the quiet assassin, and we're here with Cher. And I'm not talking about the singer, I'm talking about the track coach. And we're going to, because Eduardo is quiet and he is observing, we're going to ask him to leave, and we're going to bring up Miss Ashley Munoz. If you guys are looking for a quality instructor that can help work with strength, stability, explosive movement, and speed, Eddie is the guy. Eddie does a great job with middle school athletes and high school athletes. Tremendous job, because we work towards getting those results. The young lady that just sat down, she holds down the office, and she makes sure the meetings go swell, and she actually received a scholarship from PE, and you would think that she was always outside of the ball game with how loud and aggressive she is. So
I'm not sure why people think we're related. It really baffles me.
Ashley, you are not an instructor, but you are.
I'm not.
You are one of the most intricate parts in the building. So what is it that you do, and what is the purpose? Like, what are we trying to get from you out there?
Well, to go ahead and, I guess, put it out there, I do want to state that this year was not my first year working with PE, with Greg, with all these weirdos. And the team has changed, has taken its turns. But I definitely want to say that as soon as I was even considered for that scholarship, I was set on, okay, I can do things. I'm making things happen. Let's continue to do that. I was lucky enough to be one of the people that actually got the scholarship, and I went with it, and you saw something in me that I clearly still hadn't seen in myself. And offered me a job with zero experience, and I definitely think that it was due to the conversation that we had from the spend a day
from
with
the intern,
Greg. Yeah. And I expressed to you how difficult it was at my age, to get a job with no experience, when employers, only want someone with experience. And so that was a constant struggle of like, okay, how am I supposed to get experience if no one would give me a job? And so I guess you saw that. You gave me the opportunity, and within a matter of months, I had learned so much. And it wasn't just like textbook, like sit, learn this is what we do, get it, got it good. It was very much of like a fun environment, and definitely the different personalities, like the balance between Greg and Grace is amazing, because Greg is definitely one way, say it quick, say it like concise, and get done, and Gracie's very much of like, okay, well, let me help you every step of the way. So if I couldn't go to Greg, I knew for sure that I could go to Gracie. And that, coming right out of high school, head first into college, like getting the full experience, living on campus, going away from home, and all that stuff was overwhelming, definitely overwhelming. And you saw that, and we parted our ways, but I knew that Greg and just PE in general, everybody there was not someone, or wasn't a group of people that I wanted to just lose connection with. And here I am again, and I still remember that day you called me over because I told you I am in need of a job. And we had a conversation, and I told you about the things that I was trying to understand, not only like within myself, but also about the world. And one of those things was the quote that I shared with you, that you don't fall to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Mm-hmm. And I was in need of putting into practice this idea of setting systems, because I needed to organize my thoughts and how I work and function, because class will do that for you, studying for exams will do that for you, but it gets to a point where like, I'm just doing this to get a grade, I'm not doing this to get anywhere. And you definitely have given me that opportunity. That is the reason that I'm here now, because one, I want to help PE grow, because it is a fantastic company with, again, fantastic people. But two, because it allows me to put into practice things that I just won't learn in school. It just, through a matter of experiencing how to do certain things. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that. I don't
You
know.
made me
Miss
go
P,
last.
I don't know, man.
That was deep.
Sheesh, I'm
was
a
deep.
little nervous right now. Well, with that, what do you think you guys are giving to people, and what do you get from that place? And I'll leave with that and then share. I want you to go. Like, I have a complete understanding of what we're giving to people, because it was kind of my idea. So, I mean, I understand that opportunities are not earned. I know that. Like, nobody has ever earned an opportunity. You know, you do what you do to get the opportunity, and people give it to you. But you earn your place when it's given. And sometimes it's just hard for people to see what they can actually do unless you show them with some information. I'm not a rah-rah guy. And when I realize that there are methods to whatever you're trying to get done, I'll spend some time figuring it out, and then I'll give it to you, and you'll pay me for it. And I'm good at it. And so that's what the premise was. Hey, we can help you with that. We can do that. I've probably said that 2,000 times. Oh, yeah, we can help with that. Oh, yeah, we can help with that.
I'd say well over 2,000 times.
And I actually mean it. And then if I don't know the answer, I'm real confident we'll be able to help, because I'll sit down for as long as it takes to get the answer. So that's what I know we're giving. What I'm getting is the lesson of how to deal in and with people, how to remove my own feelings to get a result, how to put aside what I think is important at the moment and let the person tell me what's important to them. That's what I'm getting. And I'm also getting the opportunity to learn how to lead people the way they'll listen. For years, I would cook up a plan, walk in the meeting in full confidence here, walk in the meeting in full, hey, this is what we're going to do. Not realizing that the moment I did that, I turned all the ears off, because I'm saying things I know and that they're just now getting. And I was so hard-headed that it was hard for me to hear somebody say, hey, don't nobody understand what you're saying. So I'd take a step back, and then I would ask angry Eddie, man, you understand what we're doing? Kind of. I was like, ooh.
That sounds like you.
And Eddie always listening. I was like, man, let me take a step back and start asking better questions. Hence what brought us to this point now. So with you, what are you giving in this space, and what do you think you're getting in return?
Well, I'll go back to the first time that I trained in there, and I think you watched me. I trained, and then later on we talked, and you were like, you're good. You're good with the kids. You're good. He comes with this positive stuff. Not that anything was negative, but he came with, this positive stuff. He was like, but I don't want to see you count no more sets.
I said that just like that, didn't I?
Throw out the count,
like,
throw out the sets,
man.
So for me, I'm in this place. I'm also learning, because you're never too old to learn. You're always learning. I came in as a coach, a high school track coach. Coach groups. I've coached large groups. I've coached camps with like 60 kids. I ran the camp by myself. But I never really took that individualized approach until I came here, where you actually have to know your person. Like, I know my track kids, don't get me wrong, but I get them for a certain period of time as a group. Whereas I get some of my clients just one-on-one for an hour, and they get all of me, like every part of me. Like for that hour, it doesn't matter what's going on outside of, PE, that wall, what's going on in my life, what I might have experienced before I pulled up. It doesn't matter, because for that hour, I'm giving them me, my undivided attention. I want them to know that I care about what they're doing. I want them to know that I care about the goals that they're trying to achieve, and I want to help them set those achievable goals, because I can relate to, like I said, I'm a little older than some of our cast, so I can relate to the up and downs of just natural change in the body, as you get older, and hormones and all of that stuff. And I also can understand how fitness can sometimes be life. Like, because for me, I took some hard hits in 2018, some super hard hits, some losses, like 2 important people in my life within 3 months of each other. And fitness saved me, like getting back into it, getting in the gym and working out and setting these goals, these attainable goals for myself. Purpose. It gave me a purpose. So some of the people that come to see me, that's their purpose. They need that hour of the day for just them.
Yep.
That's all. They're not going to be mom during that time. They're not going to be a CEO of a company. They're not going to be a teacher. The kids aren't going to be the son that's getting, coached by mom and dad, and all. They just want me, And so for me, I'm learning in PE. I'm evolving, and I'm giving myself to people, and I want these people to know that I care outside of just the exercises that I lead them to do on a day-to-day basis. Right. The exercise is secondary.
That's the easy part.
That's the easy part. What I want to give them emotionally and mentally to prepare them for the physical part is more important to me than the actual exercises that we do.
How do you think you go about? And then, Grace, I want you to answer the question she just answered. What are you giving and what are you getting? And then you'll be next. But I guess what I'm saying is, how do you know how and when to differentiate the giving the instruction versus adapting to the situation?
And I think that just comes with, like you said, just getting to know, just being personal with the people that you're training. Because you're right. You have to know when, okay, we want to get through this exercise, but I can see that I may need to pull back a little, because emotionally you're at a point where it doesn't matter how many times we do this, it's probably not going to be successful because you're not tapped in.
Yep.
And so it's just knowing your athlete, or knowing your client, or whoever you're training with, knowing what their buttons are, what moves them, what doesn't move them, how to respond to certain things, how to approach them, And so, and that just comes to being a person, personable, just being
treating people like people,
treating people like people, being people first.
People like people.
Trainer second, people first. Because nobody wants to come in and just hear me tell them what to do.
Yep. 100%. Grace, so what are you giving and what do you think you're getting?
Ooh, that's hard. That's a hard one. I know as far as like what I'm getting. I know it's hard to put it on one thing, if that makes sense. But I think the one thing I get the most is the ability to change people's lives. I get, I guess, endless opportunity to do that. There's not really a cap on it,
right?
Other than the COVID cap, but other than that, there's not really one. And then what I'm giving.
What you're getting or what you're giving?
No, what I'm giving.
Okay.
I guess if I had to put a word on it, it would be my light. And I mean, that word has kind of followed me around wherever I've ever really been at. That's one common thing that people have said to me, that I have a personality that brightens up for people. And it makes sense. I love being around everyone that I work with, and I remind people of people's birthdays, and things like that. Because I just have this notion that if you treat enough people kind, it'll come back around at some point or another. And not because I want something, it's just, it's nice to make sure that you always know that you have somebody in a place with you. Somebody that wants to listen to you, somebody that cares to hear what you have to say, someone that makes you feel like you matter, even if it's for an hour. Because, and that's the honest truth why I do things like recovery with the adults. I don't do it because I don't want to come up with a cool workout that makes them sore, but they need
They
it.
love it.
Yeah, they love it. They love it, and they love it because it gives them a chance to not have to worry about their kids for an hour. And I don't mean that in a positive or a negative way. That means they don't have to worry. It gives them an opportunity to be a woman first, a man first, before their mom, dad, husband, wife. It gives them a chance to not have to think about what bills need to be paid or what they're going to eat for dinner.
It's just treating people like people.
It's for them. It is theirs to take. And the same thing with the kids. I don't push any of when I did speed school and anytime I work with any of my athletes, I don't beg anybody to work. That's not what I'm here for.
Not what we do.
And I don't. And I'm not going to coerce you or persuade you to go harder. I'm going to choose the right words that I know that that help make sense for you. But I also know when to step away too. I know when a kid, no matter how much I want to train them, is not a fit for me.
That's a powerful statement. I still don't.
I've probably given
7 that I know.
I was about to say 6 to 10 kids away. And and never because I can't deal or because I don't like them.
Gotta be the right.
It's about finding a fit for them. It's not about me being the person that gets the glory at the end. I don't care about that.
We are here with the Performance Experience team. I have Cher, I have Ashley, Round-Faced Mexican Girl, and Angry Eddie back there in the back. So, what questions you got online, Grace? Or comments?
Comments. Let's see. After Jasmine, we have Miss Jennifer. She put, Gracie is one of the best. I like that comment. That was good. Monica Jones put round of applause for when we were clapping, and so did Katrina. Katrina is a great client to have in here.
I want to speak to all of them, Jennifer, Katrina, and Monica. They have been with us since inception, since we opened the doors in 2014. They've been rocking with us. I didn't think people could hang out with me for that long, but I guess since Grace on the squad and I got some better looking faces around me, I guess they like coming in there. But I mean, they have been with us since the beginning. You guys are greatly appreciated. It's the people, man. We got about 9 or 10 people. Becky has been with us since 2012. Rhonda Hansen has been with us for 9 or 10 years, and I'm so humbled by that. Like I really am, to be like, man, what is it that every year people come? Carrie, John, and Ben. And the list literally keeps going. It's interesting to see people continuously come back and then try to make things better or put things at ease or call in check for you. So I know all the ridiculousness I do, 1 or 2 things I get right every once in a while. Ashley, what are you giving and what are you getting?
I want to start off with.
We got 3 minutes, so I need you to.
What I'm getting. I want to start off with what I'm getting.
She hit you with that deacon 3 minutes.
Yeah.
One, definitely inspiration from all of you guys, because like, I don't know if our audience already knows this, but I'm, in my 20s. I'm still figuring out life, and it's fun to get to pick at each and every one of y'all's brains about like what it means to grow up, and do you really get to the finish line and like, okay, you officially growed up, like it's over, and like
that's so powerful.
And
can I have 5 extra minutes to speak to that?
I have learned that it isn't just like, you get to a finish line and here's your certification. You can now do whatever is next. So it's that inspiration, and 2, just I guess this is part of like what I give. I strongly believe in be the energy you want to attract, right? And so I definitely give my energy. I also give myself to PE. I give my perspective, my fresh ideas, and like I guess my weirdness and my curiosity. And with that, the ambition that I see, one, I guess with just how PE started, you had this goal, this ambition to do something, and you did that, and you were able to not only get yourself a group of coaches and instructors with that same level of ambition, but also an amazing group of like members who I think, in regards to like how long some of these clients have stayed with PE, I think it's honestly because of like that constant ambition, that constant inspiration, and just humor, like that real, like we're all real people, you know, and it isn't just like we're here to get you from point A to point B, bravo, like let's set a new goal, but it's just this continuous, like we're always growing.
Golly, I wasn't ready for this. I gotta give credit where credit is due. A lot of people don't know this, but you know, PE, although it was my idea and it was the plan. The fuel came from Nika Blunt. She was one of the first people to believe that this could actually be pulled off.
Like a heist.
Yeah, like she honestly believed it could be pulled off, and there were some elements that I learned so much from her on how to conduct myself as a business. Like, you need an org chart. Now everybody know what they're supposed to be doing. No, Greg, look at this. This is what this looks like. You know, you got to do taxes, son. Like, look at this. This is what this looks like. This software we need. You know, you can't just put everything in an Excel form, brother. You got to sit down. So she brought an element that was so integral, and there was a lot of things she did at no cost. It was just pushing it forward. I didn't realize that in that time she was growing into her own confidence in her own sales experience and abilities, and now she has a product that people look like her own line, and you go from being afraid to sell anything, and I'm pretty sure she don't mind me saying that, to, you know, standing out there high-fiving and hugging, like slinging tapes out the back of a trunk like Master P. Like, that's what she's doing right now. Like, shout out to Nika. And it's that evolution of all the hard times we went through learning how business works, and all the agitation in those hard times. There's no way I could have there's no way I could be at this point without her, and all the things that she did. And she's still doing things. That's the beauty of it. Like, we don't see her, you don't hear from her. She's like an underwriter. Like, you know you need loan, but you never see the underwriter. Like, we send it to the underwriter, and it's like, oh, you're talking about the Wizard of Oz back there. None of us have ever seen the underwriter. She's the underwriter. Like, y'all see y'all tax form. She did that. Bow, you get your stuff. I ain't do that. I barely know Form 503B 12-9, whatever they call it. So there are parts that there's no way this could have happened without her. And in that, she grew into what her brand is today. I didn't think about any of that stuff when I was thinking about this. All I thought was, man, there's a lot of stuff missing at this place that I know I can provide. And I knew I couldn't pull it off by myself. I just didn't know how to include people. I learned inclusion from Gracie. This is a fact.
I didn't know that.
I know that.
It's not really fair.
Most people talked at me. You know what you need to do. You know what you should do. You know what you're going to do. If anybody knows me, when the sentence starts like that, what I do is stop listening. So what happened was, we'd be finished with meetings. I'd be super frustrated. And then she would go, well, I think it'd be good if you considered thinking about this, this, and this. I'd be like, I don't want to think about that. Then I'd go in there and be like, she might be right. All right, this is what we're going to do. And she would never be like, I told you. But in that, we learned how to grow a female demographic. And there was 2 girls that trained at PE. One was a junior, and one was a was a sophomore, and one played volleyball and one ran track. There were two for 2 years. Now there are 25, 30, multiple sports. I didn't do that. I keep telling people that. I didn't do that. I make girls nervous, But the element that she brought and the results that we got from it are second to none. We have a middle school demographic that Eddie built through strength practice. Like, all I do is sit around and act like I know what I'm talking about. Like, I tell people that all the time. But I have a tremendous group of people who, they don't just want to help people. They don't just, it ain't about the exercise. It's about what are we actually in here trying to get accomplished. I would say all the time, and you can help anybody. You want to help people, help old ladies cross the street, or help that dude at the store with the grocery bag. But if you want to make an impact, give something to somebody that they can take with them. So I think what I give is self-confidence. I'm not a rah-rah guy. I'm positive and I'm super energetic, and the way I am now is the way I am all day long. From the moment I get up to the moment I go down, if I go down. This is what you get from Greg. But it's based in because, hey, you're going to run fast because this, and this, if we do this, and this over this amount of time. That's a real process. So somebody can go, all I have to do, or I can do that, or is that the way? I can go that way. And if I can do it, or at least attempt it, and somebody's showing me the right way, I can continue to get the results. So when people are like, Greg, I'm so appreciative, I always say the same thing. I didn't do the work. I just happen to know what to say. And when I don't, I call these people in front of me. Am I right or am I wrong? So I'm really excited about the direction. For us, it's what we do. It's a part of how we do what we do. Yeah, we want to make money. We want to make a lot of it, and we think we will. And we want to expand, and we want to grow, and we want to be developed, and we want as many clients as we can have. We want our own brand. But at the root of all of it, I was given something. Ms. Pete, somebody gave. They didn't have to. I wake up every day thinking about that. I was given something that I didn't earn, I probably didn't deserve, and other people were better at. But it was given to me. I still don't know why, but I do know this. Because it was given to me, I owe it. I owe it back. So as many people as I can give it away to, yes, I throw you in the water, the deep water. Gracie, you experienced, Eddie, you experienced it. How you going to learn anything if I don't say, all right, we're going to do it like this, all right, go do it.
I truly don't think, honestly though, I don't think anyone experienced it like our group of interns.
Yeah, y'all got it.
I honestly believe that.
Part of it is this. Most people can tell you what the book says. Some people can tell you what the book means. Go talk to the person that wrote the book. You think it was easy for them? Nobody, the person who cuts the shortcut does not get to take the shortcut. The person who cuts the path doesn't get to take it. It takes them forever to cut the path, and then we take the path. We're given another way. So if you're giving away, sometimes people push you through there to go fast and see what it feels like. If you don't want to see what it feels like, how you going to know how to do what to do? So I know, Ms. P, I know I got, 2 more minutes left? I need you to tell me what is your thing? What is the thing that you love? For me, if you let me work with pitchers, let me work with a pitcher. And then let me work with a young DB, like a junior high DB. And I can do that all day long without hesitation. So that's the baby. That's what I love to do. I think I know a lot, so I get to talking like Dr. House. And it's not hard for me to do that all day. What's your thing? What do you love to do?
So, of course, for me, you give me anybody that runs the 200 meter, 400 meter, give me a long jumper, give me a high jumper, a triple jumper. I like the quick explosive movement, the fast switch muscles, the power. So that correlates. So for me also, of course, track athletes are who I love to get track athletes. So that also correlates for me. I like football boys because they have to be quick, explosive, lateral movement. I like basketball kids because it's the same thing. I mean, track and field is the foundation for most.
It's the first sport.
Most sports. Soccer kids are like soccer kids too, but track and field most definitely.
What's your thing, Grace O?
Ooh, that's hard. But if I had to pick, there's nothing like the excitement I get when it comes to working with a basketball player. And I think everyone can attest to that honesty. I've recently grown more of an attraction with volleyball. I have always liked it, but there's nothing like the energy that I have when it comes to basketball. There's nothing like it.
Jam more 6-year-olds' fingers with a basketball than I ever seen.
Get no, I didn't.
You gotta come on with it. So, dang.
I beat all my kids.
Let that man make it. Eduardo, what's your thing, Eduardo?
For me, it's quarterbacks.
Eduardo said quarterbacks. He does a really good job quarterbacks.
Yeah, I've worked with 2 or 3 quarterbacks previously, and they've all seen some pretty good improvements. One of them is
getting better.
I say his mechanics was way down here, and it went up here, and coaches started noticing it, and his dad was giving praise about it. But yeah, quarterbacks is something I love working with.
So if you didn't hear him, Eddie said quarterbacks. He's worked with a few. He does a good job. Eddie played quarterback. Eddie was extremely fast at quarterback too. Eddie is one of the few people that has a faster time than me in the building. All right. We're going to wrap this thing up, but let's leave them with a word, and let's be honest about the word, and let's make sure they know where to find us. You can find us at pe28.com. You can find us at Performance Experience on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram at The Performance Experience. And you can find us in Euless, being loud, listening to ridiculous music, and really trying to help people. Grace O, what would you leave the people with? Because we got to get out of here.
Sheesh, that's a hard one. I usually ask people to give the word of the day. Hungry.
I'm hungry now, for real.
more in the metaphorical sense than the physical sense, although I am physically hungry as well. Never stop being hungry. Like the same way that you still enjoy your food every single time, whether you eat 1 time or 6 times a day. If you approach the things that you do in your life, the same come from them.
What you gonna leave the people with?
Never stop questioning.
Man, you know what? You're going to make a lot of enemies. Trust me, because I never stop questioning anything. Share, what you leaving the people with?
I guess it's more of like a thought than a word. A thought that was put on my mind recently because I was talking about life being a marathon. And so I guess it's more like live your life like a journey instead of a marathon, because in the marathon, eventually you're going to run, and you're going to get to the finish line and it's going to be done. But life is not really like that. So just continue the journey, because life is a journey. Be hungry the whole journey, and just live life is a journey, and bring people along with you.
Anything on the line? Because 2 minutes, we got to go. Any comments, questions, or concerns over there? No comments or questions. Okay. So I'm going to leave you guys with this.
That we're all good people, that's it.
The humility that I feel today didn't even exist 6 years ago. The same things that brought me to this point stopped me at this point. And I've learned that people have their own choices and their own path, and they have their own way of doing things. But if you're given something and you recognize that somebody gave you something without that, just gracefully, in grace, there are 2 things you have to exercise. You have to exercise humility and reciprocity. You have to, or else that ungratefulness will come back to you. Just like Eddie's being ungrateful with this alarm that he keeps setting off. But no, I bring people along. If you notice that I got a cast of women and people younger than me, and nobody at the table looks like me, because I don't want people at the table that think like me, because I will screw it up. But I recognize that if I just step back and listen to the experts and bring myself to a learning place, I can be way more helpful than having myself in a knowing place. I used to pride myself on knowing a lot of things. I've changed my approach into try to learn as much as I can about what I'm doing so I can actually be helpful in the place of what I'm doing. If we're trying to win a championship, everybody needs to know the plays, including the play caller. So with that, I am extremely grateful for this team. I am tremendously grateful for these opportunities. I love these guys. I love the people that's been rocking with me for years. Without you, PE doesn't exist. And how we made it, I do understand now. It had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with the people around me. With that said, thank you for this interesting year. Looks like we're going to wake up and see another one. And when we do, we'll be standing at the door like Rick James with open arms, waiting on you to enter the facility and have the greatest time of your life. Everybody, enjoy the new year, and we will see you in 2021.